Hey everybody, today I'm going to a restaurant that I haven't been to in a few years. The last time I went, they had some really interesting foods. They closed down for remodeling during COVID and is now open again. The place is called District 1. It's located in a pretty small shopping center that's usually crowded for parking. There are many draws here. There are 2 restaurants here that I've done videos on, maybe 3. There's Chubby Cattle, Hachi, and Q Bistro, where I did a little portion of Korean fried chicken. Among other popular draws is QD's, Billiards, and Cafe Moda. This place is usually packed. District 1 is named after District 1 in Vietnam. It's an urban district in Vietnam, which is the center of Saigon, which is also known as Ho Chi Minh City. And it's a base and a hub for nightlife, food, and shopping. This place isn't overly big. I'd say it's about the size of an Applebee's. At this time they were getting ready for Halloween. You can tell by the decorations. They have a full bar and they have screens everywhere. I remember this place for having some really interesting food. Let's take a look at the menu. Sea snail with lemongrass broth. This is something you won't find in every restaurant in Vegas. But snails are very popular in Ho Chi Minh City, and now you don't have to travel halfway around the world to try it. The spring rolls, the fresh version, wrapped in rice paper, a common appetizer in many Vietnamese restaurants. They also have the crispy egg rolls as well. They also had a whole grilled squid available. They also had the delicious pork belly bao buns. And steak and eggs. Not a whole steak, but chopped steak, more like the shaken beef if you know Vietnamese cuisine. And the thing that got my attention was the oxtail. They had a few different oxtail dishes here, and if you've never tried oxtail, you won't know, but oxtail is an amazing flavor, one of my most favorite flavors of beef. One of the things that everybody knows about this place is they offer lobster pho or lobster fried rice. They have both. The restaurant is predominantly Vietnamese cuisine with a few fusion twists. Here are some of the regular pho dishes. I'm not gonna show you everything on the menu, and I'm not gonna try everything at this place, but I will show you what I did try. There is a full bar at this place, so you can get any type of drink you want, even specialty cocktails as well. I started off with garlic serrano wings. These were deep fried without breading and they seemed fried to a crisp, which is the way I like it. I like my wings crispy. And they weren't served covered in a thick sauce or anything like that, but they were packed with flavor. Crispy, piping hot wings that had a kick to them, just the way I like it. And I was beginning to wonder where the napkins were, but I noticed that all the tables had this huge roll of paper towel. I was covered. I'm not sure about everything that was coated on the outer skin of the wings before they were fried, but somehow it gave off a really good flavor. I saw the serrano peppers just cut up on the side. I love the spicy level of the serrano peppers. I think it's perfect for me. It was a little bit more mild because of the fact that it was cooked, but I like the serrano peppers spice level, especially for this wings dish here. Now it didn't come with the sauce, so I asked my server if they had any kind of a sauce, and he said he'd bring me some kind of a spicy aioli sauce. The spicy aioli sauce is usually served with the whole grilled squid. This sauce was amazing. So what is aioli? Instead of getting technical with the whole emulsion process and all that, you can just think of it this way. It's similar to some type of a mayo that's incredibly infused and enriched with flavor, a lot of times from garlic. But whatever it was they used to flavor this aioli sauce, I loved it. It was a great creamy and spicy sauce. But now, the dish I was really excited to try. The oxtail fries. I said it many times before and I'll say it again. If you've never had oxtail, you don't know what you're missing. Oxtail is so good, and I love oxtail soup the Hawaiian version, the Korean version, the Seoul version. Oxtail is just incredibly flavorful meat. These oxtail fries kind of reminded me of carne asada fries, but a lot more to it. The oxtail with the fried egg, the yolk coming over the top, incredible. Now I will say that the true flavor of the oxtail meat was a little bit less present. It changed up a little bit, but still good. The meat was extremely tender. I even added the spicy aioli sauce, and the sauce went well with it too. The meat was fatty and soft and gave you a good rich taste, and the size of this dish was pretty big too. And speaking of big, here is their big bone soup. There were two things that I remember District 1 for. One was the lobster pho and the other one was this, the big bone soup. This is a huge, gigantic dish. It's got a lot of big bones served in a pho broth. And for those of you who know pho broth is extremely good because it's prepared over time. The seasoning, the boiling of the meats and the bones, all the spices that go into making the pho broth is incredible. The bone pieces are huge. Now mine didn't have any marrow, or I didn't have a saw to get to it anyway. But the bones come with the meat and the cartilage and everything that's attached to them. It takes a little bit of work to get the meat and the cartilage off the bones. This is the kind of dish you want when you feel like just eating something beefy and hearty. It's not going to be a tenderloin or a steak. These are the cartilage, and I ate all the gelatinous tendons and the cartilage. It was soft enough, a little bit chewy, some of it was chewy. It was good with the broth. I was dipping it in the soup and eating this. It is what it is. So have a good look at the video. This dish may not be for everyone, but I felt like eating this. Some pieces of the meat were dry, but it was okay. It was boiled a very long time. You can tell it was boiled a long time. And if you like the cartilage and tendon, which I do, it was pretty good. This is kind of similar to an oxtail soup, but it's with the leg bone or the knee bone, those big white pieces. At first they might resemble a potato, a whole boiled potato, but it's actually the kneecap, I believe. But there were still good chunks of meat that were tender and beefy, and the broth was excellent. Did I just say kneecap? I meant knee. It looked like the knee anyway. I'm not sure exactly what part of the leg. The only thing is that the menu says bone marrow. There was no bone marrow in my soup. And I believe that there are better pieces where you get better pieces of meat. And actually a bone where it's cut to a point where you can get the marrow. Mine didn't have either. But I still thoroughly enjoyed the dish. And it's a lot of food. And I had to try to save a little room because there was still another dish that I wanted to get. I couldn't resist the temptation of getting the lobster fried rice. It comes in at a pandemic price of $59.99. That's right. And even the lobster pho, whether you get the lobster fried rice or the lobster pho, they're gonna be $59.99 as of October 2021. This dish comes with the lobster head and the lobster tail on both edges of the plate. But what's in between the head and the tail? Not much, the way it seemed. So it seemed like it was maybe a 6-ounce lobster tail. But as I was stirring the dish, it seemed like I couldn't see any lobster. The fact is, they were cut pretty fine. They were cut pretty small. There were pieces and chunks of lobster in this dish. At first, it looked like there was nothing. But there are actually lobster pieces, and it was really good. The flavor was amazing. I would have preferred more of a lobster, especially at $60. It's almost the price of a mega buffet on the strip. But everything costs more now, and actually the fried rice was excellent. Would I get it again? I don't know. But I will say that I thoroughly enjoyed all the dishes that I ordered at this place. And I was glad that District 1 had opened again, because they were closed for a good while. This can be a great place to hang out. It has great food and lively atmosphere, although not when I came. If you want to know more, check out the description below. And that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.